Hey guys, this is Jay called Norma J Unboxing here, giving you my personal prediction for the bantamweight clash between Japan's Naoya Inoue and Filipino Michael Dasmarinas. And I cannot believe I got through their names without stumbling. And of course, remember this is just my take. Yours can be left down in the comments section. I'd love to hear them all. As mentioned, this is Inoue versus Dasmarinas. It's for the Ring Bantamweight World title, possessed by Inoue, of course, as well as his versions of the WBA and the IBF title at Bantamweight as well. It'll be taking place at the Virgin Hotel Las Vegas in Nevada on Saturday, airing live on ESPN. And it's a decent little scrap, potentially, though the outcome does seem mostly made up by the general observer. Frankly, Inoue is expected to get rid of Dasmarinas in relatively quick fashion, and that's that. However, this is about seeing if we can kind of come up with the Filipinos' best chance, as well as getting to the exact outcome regardless. So, without much more build-up, let's get into the breakdown. For Inoue to win, I think he needs to place the left hook to the head and the body. Inoue has a great left hand. Whether it's to use his jab or the hook, it can effectively work wonders for him against a southpaw especially. One way in particular is if he ensures that he switches up the placement of that aforementioned hook. Place it to the body sometimes, as you'll get some shots to do that as they're covering up upstairs. Once his hands then move down, you can of course use that creativity to bring that left hook upstairs and then land some more punishing blows that ultimately might lead to your stoppage victory. I would also say he needs to keep Dasmarinas moving backwards. When Dasmarinas is moving forward, he can actually get some decent pop to his shots and throw with a bit more authority and conviction. Well, that might be okay if you're setting the traps. In general, Inoue will benefit most from making Dasmarinas uncomfortable while he pushes him back and pours on a two-fisted attack. Well, Inoue will need to be sure he's not overcommitting himself. Dasmarinas tends to have much less zip on his shots while he's in reverse, and it makes it an overall safer approach to this contest. And finally, I would say time the right hand with the in and out movement of Dasmarinas. Dasmarinas has a jerky in and out style that he tends to use, especially when he gets going in a fight. One potential issue is that it becomes predictable. If Inoue can time the movement and land that right hand while Dasmarinas steps in, Naoya is going to give himself a good chance of dropping and potentially stopping his foe. And that right hand should do particularly well when in against a left-hander like Dasmarinas. Switching over to Dasmarinas, for starters, I think he needs to step in confidently with the straight counter left hand. Dasmarinas is a solid left hand when he throws it the right way, especially when he uses it as a counter shot or times an opponent when they're coming in. The good news is that Inoue will walk in and will be throwing, so you can walk him into something and you will have shots to counter. The bad news is that this means that Inoue will remain dangerous during this process, so Dasmarinas will need to ensure he throws it when it makes sense and that he makes it count when he does throw it. I would also recommend that Dasmarinas vary up his movement to keep Inoue questioning where to throw. Inoue likes to anticipate and set up his shots accordingly. True of most fighters, but most fighters aren't as accurate with power like the Japanese fighter. Therefore, more than in other fights, Dasmarinas needs to make sure he varies the way in which he moves. Circle away from his power, but feint to the other side. Make sure that you're moving in and out, but use feints in general to throw him off in terms of the timing of that in and out movement. Step in a bit more sometimes, a little less at times. Be awkward and give Inoue something to process. This gives you a better chance of having the time to land the shots you need to win the fight. Don't allow Inoue to dictate the pace. While easier said than done, Dasmarinas needs to grab a hold of this fight as quickly as possible, and it's going to give him his best chance of winning. If Inoue is simply allowed to fight as he chooses, walk his man down, let his hands go, Dasmarinas has zero chance. However, if Dasmarinas can make it ugly, awkward at times, or push his man back, or bully Inoue at times, he might do something that unlocks the right door for himself in this contest. Now, my pick here, while Dasmarinas may have a semi-recent showing or a puncher's chance overall, my instincts tell me that this has Inoue's showcase written all over it. He pressures and breaks down his man over the first few rounds, lines him up with left hooks, and ultimately walks him into a right hand that drops him for good, Inoue via mid-fight stoppage. And the odds, of course, seem to suggest this as well. I mean, you have Inoue at a minus 2,200 for the favorite, and of course you have Dasmarinas coming in at a plus 900. It's there's some different odds out there, but ultimately they all are basically this wide and in favor of Inoue, of course. Not much action either way. I just don't predict Dasmarinas has enough in his arsenal to get the job done. Not much in terms of parlays. There's really just not a lot of action. If you can find an over-under that's decent, maybe around the 7, 8 round mark, I would maybe suggest an under bet there, reasonable size bet there, just because I do think Inoue takes care of him pretty easily. But I think that'd be even pretty hard to find. In any event, that's kind of what I would suggest there in terms of betting odds. Prediction record going into the weekend is 16-6-2 with 7 exact. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments. Love to hear how you've been running and your thoughts, predictions, bets, so on and so forth. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow at jcalderon_JOB. And you can email me at junboxing@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you there. Also, be sure to check out junboxing.com for schedule, results, betting odds, rankings, and more. And as always, until next time.